Hey, Nicole Huntsman, your astrologer from moderncosmic.com. I just had a thought as I was reading for some of my clients about Mars. While at this conference, this astrological conference, I had this interesting thing happen with some people from class, and we were talking about our Mars in our charts. And we had a lot of people who had watery Marses. Is that the proper way to say that? And got me to thinking, I think people sometimes look at Mars in a way that might be a little bit differently from the way I look at Mars. So when I think of Mars, I think of quite literally the physical body, the corporality, the fact that to exist here on Earth as a incarnate being, you have to be inside of a body. And Mars to me shows your relationship to that physical object. Because the body to me is kind of an object, okay? If you didn't have the soul, the spirit, the thing, whatever you want to call it, that animates life, animating the body, telling the DNA how to express their proteins, telling the body how to behave, then you would not be alive. So when we're thinking about Mars, first think about this is how you process physically the world around you. And I'm going to give you an example. So I'll use my Mars because I know it. So I have a Mars in Cancer. Traditionally, Mars is not considered to be very happy in Cancer. And if you think about what Cancer rules, it makes sense. Cancer has to do with protecting things, and it has to do with nurturing, right? So Mars, it's also connected to emotion. I have a moon in Aries, so that rules my Mars, and they are mutually receptive. It's a wide orb, but they're still technically mutually receptive, a 10-degree orb. So what this means is with what I do for work, if I feel something emotionally, intuitively, it shows up in my body. I literally get goosebumps on my skin. So when I know I'm kind of going down the right path, I all of a sudden get this feeling that comes over me of this kind of goosebumps. Now my Mars is also connected to my third house of communication. It's connected to Uranus, as well as we have a little connection, little sextile from Uranus and from Mars over to my Mercury in the first house. Also, the first house is Aries. That's also Mars. That's the body. It's in Virgo, but it's a Mercury in Virgo, so it's the dispositor. So for me, receiving information always comes as a physical, visceral. When I get confirmations of things, it's like this visceral feeling. It's a actual physical. It's not just an intuitive, I think or I feel this in my intuition or my knowingness. It's like I physically actually feel what I'm feeling on the inside. It shows up on the outside. So if you're someone who has, for example, and I would say for anyone with a Mars and water, the issue with Mars and water is the emotional and intuitive bodies along with the physical body are so connected that there's this openness. There's a vulnerability with all of the water signs. Perhaps a little bit less so with Scorpio, but really, I mean, it's definitely vulnerable if it wants to be. But we have this ability to absorb from around us people's sort of vibes, what we eat, drugs, medicines, substances that we put inside of our body can have a funky effect on us. And it's really important at the end of the day, for example, I like to take a bath, and that's why I take a bath most every day with salt. It just kind of helps me clear everything out and reset. So when you think of Mars and you read the cookbook descriptions, you have a Mars in Pisces, so that must mean that you need to be able to express yourself creatively. Well, yes, sure, that's part of it, but it's more literal, actually. I think it's more, you as a Mars in Pisces have a very open, vulnerable, physicality. Like the physical body itself can be more prone to getting sick, or it can be one that physically we desire these experiences that feel like transcending the body, which can be done in many ways. If you're a Scorpio Mars, you may have that desire to experience the power and the transformative power of the body, the exchange of energy, even the control of, through maybe a sexual experience, the control of the partner's energy, like being able to push your boundaries and push your limits. But it's still, and we talk about sort of psychic gift with Scorpio, it's kind of that probing intensity. The physical, like I have to, like you'd feel it in your body, like you have to do the thing that you have your head set on. So it can be compulsive. And you can do the same thing through all of the the elements. If you were to, let's look at, we can start with fire. With fire, you've got movement. Mars in Aries. It is taking action. It's immediate. It's now. It's very visceral. You're going to be someone who is typically moving hard. It's usually someone who's very much in their physical body, busy with their physical body, and pursuing something. You put Mars into Leo, and then you have this quality of needing to, this is more like, I've seen this one because I've actually dated several people with this placement, so I know this one just up close and personal. And you have like the vanity of Leo and the need to be recognized as sort of excellent, blending with the expression of the body. So these are people that preen, or that can be kind of like, they'll put on airs, they'll have a strut, they'll have like a walk, they'll have like a way of presenting themselves physically that's, you feel them, physically when they walk into a room. They take a lot of pride also in their performance, so to speak. And then you've got your Mars in Sagittarius. Sagittarius being this kind of playful, optimistic, not looking at the negative, just kind of looking at the positive, jumps into things. So they're physically, a lot of times we have people who are athletic or who enjoy the outdoors and have to have a connection with their environment where they're like learning through the use of their physical body. It's like there's this desire to keep trying. It feels like a daredevil kind of placement too. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. Having all of the fire signs, so it's like using the physical body in the world of movement, like what you're doing to animate your physical body. That's when you're with the fire signs. Look at it that way. With the earthier signs, so Taurus, for example, you're going to have someone, there's a quality of conservation with the earth signs, so with Taurus, Mars and Taurus types, I read very seldomly for Mars and Taurus people actually. The physical body, the connection you have to your environment tends to be very much in the present, here and now. And these are the folks who they can be hedonistic. They enjoy using their body in a way where they're interacting with their physical environment, whether that's food, music, art, dance, sex. There's a slowness too to the way that they take action. They tend to, with their physical bodies, their bodies can even sort of maybe process things more slowly. It's like they are here, they're taking their time, and their bodies don't like to be surprised by things they weren't expecting. Slow and steady. If we look at Virgo, you have the mercurial kind of busyness with Virgo, the worry, the anxiety of Virgo. Virgo Marses tend to be perfectionists. They tend to be really good at techniques of manipulating their environment. Sorry, I'm messing with my hair. It's just driving me crazy today. They're good at, learning how to operate a certain type of machinery, how to do a certain technique like a Reiki technique. Your Mercury Virgos are the ones who learn it really quickly, have the ability to do it well. And so it's that physical, it's Mars, your body interacting with its physical environment. Okay, Capricorn, with Capricorn, you have this underlying theme of there's a right way to do things and there's a wrong way. Right? So there's the right way, which is the only way, and there's a wrong way, which you're stupid if you're doing it the wrong way. I tease, but Capricorn does have this quality of looking at the rules. Here are the rules. So with rules, there's it's kind of black and white. There's an excellent way to do something where you'll be respected, and there's a really stupid way to do something where you'll be rejected. Okay? Now, but Capricorn and Mars is the body, and it's how I'm going to use my body. There can be a bit of a stiffness to a Mars and Capricorn. They may be a little bit more uncomfortable with interacting almost with the world around them. Well, in a free, loose, sort of Sagittarius Mars way, which would be kind of just, here I am, it's kind of open to whatever experience is going to enhance their life. Capricorn's a little more cautious and has to have a little more control over how they experience the world around them. And ruled by Saturn, there can even be issues of coldness, frigidity, fear of losing control of the body, fear of being seen in a way where we are physically out of control or don't know what we're doing, when we move into, but at the same time, I will say for the earth signs, there's this quality of the earth signs almost being, if the other parts of the chart, they have a really intuitive chart, but then we have a Mars in an earth sign. I call this kind of the lightning rod aspect, I suppose, or sort of natal placement. It's a signature where this is a person who may be very intuitive emotionally, and they have just enough earth in their chart that it grounds them so they can serve other people through sort of staying grounded while someone else is processing something emotionally. You know, this Mars and Capricorn person can stay sort of energetically here and steady. I'm having problems today with clothing and hair. Sorry. Everything's rebelling. Okay, then we move into the air signs. And so with our air signs, starting with Gemini, you've got this, if you've seen the movie, if you haven't seen it yet, go see it. Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children, or whatever it's called. Great movie. When I went with my daughter for her birthday, watched the whole thing beginning to end without getting bored, which is high praise. And there's this girl in the movie that there were 12 characters, so it was actually funny. They actually held space for each one of the zodiac signs. But this girl, she was the main sort of the protagonist, love interest, and she could float. So she had to wear these lead shoes or else she would just float away. She's just so light. So think of people who have Mars and Gemini many times are skinny, many times. Like I can think of off the top of my head, I can think of several friends who have this placement where they have thin, long bodies. I have a good girlfriend who our charts are really similar. Libra, Sun, Aries, Moon, a lot of things that are the same. But she's got a Mars and Gemini, and that rules her Moon. So Mars and Gemini, she's tall and skinny, has like long legs, very lithe and beautiful, graceful, mixed with the Libra stuff. So it's going to show up, in my mind, with the air signs, it kind of shows up almost more as a quality of the body's structure itself. I mean, you can say the same for the other elements, but also I feel like these are the people who communicate with their body. They use their physical body to tell you things, to express things to you. And with Gemini, there's just a busyness. They cannot sit still. They're like, usually, even if you've got like my friend who's a Libra, right? Libras are pretty laid back as far as they can be lazy and like need to take a nap when they need to take a nap, which is actually true for her. But she's always on the go. She's always like going somewhere, coming from somewhere, just busy. Go, go, go. That's Gemini. So she's using her physical body to experience the world around her, to take in information. When you have Libra, then you do have many times a body that is a person with Libra. I just like had this funny vision of someone like sitting on a couch that was like, okay, bring me a grape and peel it for me first. But seriously, it is using the physical body, interacting with the realm of beauty almost. I do feel like, just like with Leo, Libran Marses tend to be good at beautifying themselves. And this one plays out more in the realm of like they use their energy to make partnership happen. So the beautification of their physical body is usually done because it's in order to bring partnership into their space, which is where they're going to exchange their energy. Mars is not strong in Libra, so it's a tricky placement because they can push for relationship. It can be too much about what they're wanting, what they're needing to get from the relationship, and they can almost be desperate in their attempts to make relationship happen. Again, depends on the chart. But it's this focus on using the body to connect with other people. And then finally with Aquarius, this is one of the more challenging Mars placements to describe. The best way I can describe it is, if you think about Uranus and what it symbolizes, electricity, also the experience of the collective. It's almost as though those who are in an Aquarius Mars body have to experience the collective experience of being in a human form through connecting with a lot of different types of people. And this can show up sexually for some people. For other people, it shows up through almost a detachment even from that connection physically, and a complete escape into the realm of the imagination. Like virtual reality is a Mars Aquarius's wet dream, like literally, metaphorically. So because it gives them the opportunity to try with their body all of the things that exist in the collective existence of, all the different types of humans that are out there. And also with Aquarius and with Uranus, we have detachment and disassociation from the body. So you can also have someone who actually is quite detached from their physical body's needs, hunger, libido, tiredness, etc., 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 unless they have other things in their chart that are suggesting otherwise, maybe some strong Taurus. And these people can have this on again, off again quality to how they approach their body. I mean, they can like detach totally from their body, and they can, which can be healthy or not healthy. I mean, this is someone where meditation, where you are going total Zen Buddha, is fantastic because they can detach from their body. They can physically, or I suppose spiritually, whatever, with the soul, the mind, however you want to label it, they can sort of leave and connect with, so they're connecting with the unconscious or with the conscious. It's like they're connecting with intelligence itself, the idea of what it means to be human. So that's why I'm saying Mars in Aquarius is kind of like a mind blower. And if you're with someone with a Mars in Aquarius, you have to let them come close to you and then be totally gone, and come close to you and be totally gone. That's just how that Mars operates. Okay, we're going to stop there. If you have questions or thoughts, I just thought I'd throw this up because it was a random thought. That's about it. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.